YouTube, LJ Draco here. Yes, so this is my first podcast video. This is the second time I've recorded the intro, only because the first intro I recorded, I got some information wrong. So I've deleted that original intro and gonna slap this one in instead. So this intro is just to explain that my original plan for these podcasts was they were going to be an hour and 20 minutes long. It was going to be 10 minutes intro, 20 minutes per movies, so it's 3 movies, that's 60 minutes. And then it was a 10-minute out, and then that was it. But I've noticed that because I'm a fast talker, you know, I have a lot to say, but I'm a fast talker. It takes a lot less than 20 minutes per movie. So these podcasts are not going to be a set time. They're going to be random times. However long or short they take, they'll be uploaded as what they are. So I hope you can enjoy them regardless of length or time. Yes, let's just get into the first movie then. Now, these videos are going to be the same as my live streams. They're going to be an hour and 20 minutes. 10 minutes intro into the video. Then it's 20 minutes per each movie I talk about. And as you can tell by the title, it's 2 3D movies and 1 surprise movie that you guys don't know I've seen. Or that I think you don't know I've seen. You probably have. I probably put it on Instagram. I don't know. But yeah, I doubt it's going to be 10 minutes intro all the time, because I don't need exactly 10 minutes of talking through an intro. Also, just to, you know, you're going to hear me breathing a lot because the microphone's right next to my mouth, because some people say they can't hear me when I do these videos. So I'm talking louder, the microphone's right next to my mouth, so you should be able to hear me clear and fine. Hopefully that's true. Plus, I'm going to louden it up on my editing software. I can higher the volume from all video or voice recordings on that editor, so I'm going to be doing that. Not only will I be doing these podcasts, but I won't always be doing them alone. Every so often, I will bring in a surprise guest, or just a guest in general, and be able to do like one-on-one live stream podcasts with these people, and it's going to be fun and exciting. I'm looking forward to that, but I've got to learn how to do it all and set it all up and get a decent setup to do it. Here we go. Right, so, let's talk about the first movie. Let's screw the 10-minute intro. Right, so I'm going to be talking about 20 minutes on each movie. And also, just a heads up, there are going to be spoilers, because I'm going to be talking about certain scenes in these movies. But it's not a movie review. For 3D Blu-ray reviews that I do, I'm only going to be talking about certain scenes that looked great in 3D, what my opinions are on the 3D release compared to the 2D release, and my rating for both 2D and 3D versions of the movie. That's how this is going to work. So let's get into this. Right, so I'm currently at 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Let's talk about this until it's 23 minutes and 18 seconds. Right, so Black Panther. I have not done a review on this on my channel so far, and I should have done it a long time ago. But if I had done it in video form, I think that I wouldn't have given a true review on the scenes that I liked and what I thought about. So I've got top 5 3D scenes in this movie. Now, not all 3D films are going to have top 5 3D scenes. It depends on if the 3D is good for a movie, or if there's more noticeable scenes in 3D in a movie than there were in anything else. So let's just get into this anyway. Right. So, number 5, they're not in order of best to worst, it's just number 1 is my favourite 3D scene, and then the rest are just scenes in general. Whew, I talk way too fast. Right. Alright, let's do this. So, number 5, a great 3D scene is the battle between T'Challa and Killmonger. So, we both know by this point that there's a fight scene. They're both wearing Black Panther outfits. You know, T'Challa is wearing the one that lights up purple from the kinetic energy, and Killmonger is wearing the yellow spotted Panther outfit. But the fight scene between them, when they fall down onto the train tracks below and stuff like that, you get some really good miniature pop-up when they're fighting. Like, you see their legs sticking out of the screen. But you get some really good in-depth there too. You actually feel like you're falling down with them, which is why I love it. It's an incredible scene. And it depends. I mean, you could be watching this on a 32-inch 3D TV or an 85-inch 3D TV or a projector in 3D, and this scene will still have that same effect. It will still have that effect as if, wow, those legs are going to kick me in the face and I'm going to be falling next to them. So it's incredible, and it brings you really into the movie. Scene number 4 is any scene involving the Panther afterlife. So when they've been awarded the power of the Black Panther, they drink the potion thing and then they lay in the red sand and they spend 5 minutes in the Panther afterlife to talk to their relatives who was the previous Panthers before. Or their relative, like I said. And yeah, it's just this very beautiful green grass field with purplish pink skies with tons of stars, and it's like being in space in your garden. And the way the grass is sticking out of the screen and all across it, and the way that the sky is just so far back, but you feel like you could touch every individual star. It's yet again, it's just one of those scenes that make you really appreciate what this movie was trying to give you. This movie was trying to give you beauty, quality, and just a heartwarming story as well. Because I'll get a bit into that afterwards, but you'll see what I mean soon by that. Number 3 is any noble challenges in the movie. Now we know there was at least 2. I think there was only 2. There could have been 3, but I'm pretty sure there's 2. Because there was the first one T'Challa had to face was it Umbago or Nubago? I don't want to butcher his name, but he was like the king of the Lord of the Mountain people. And the way that you can see the rocks individually sticking in and out, the nice depth between each individual rock, plus that drop off the waterfall made me feel really dizzy and sick because of the heights. And it was like watching the Black Panther version of The Walk in 3D, you know, just when it does that bird's eye pan over the waterfall, and you think like, fuck, I don't want to fall in. Yeah, no, so there was that one, and then there was the other one where he was facing Killmonger, and you know, Killmonger throws him over the edge. Fantastic. Yet again, the 3D is just showing you what it's trying to give. Most and I will admit this, Disney and Marvel 3D Blu-rays have a hit and miss ratio of 50-50. You can either 1 week pick up a really 100% in-depth pop-out 3D Blu-ray, or you can go in and pick up a like 20% and you just get no 3D, it's practically flat. This movie is, along with another movie I'll be talking about next week, which I'm not going to mention at the moment, but this one is proving that Marvel are stepping up their game, and they're going, do you know what? We're paying high budget prices for these actors, high budget prices for the movie to be shot. We're going to go the extra fucking step and put it into your fucking living room instead of having just a standard 2D experience. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll be talking about this a bit afterwards. Just bear with me. I'm talking about the 3D at the moment. I don't want in the comments, but we're talking about the 2D. I will soon, okay? I'm a 3D lover first. Let me get that out of the way. But yeah, the waterfall challenges and stuff like that, it's just stunning. Scene number 2 is the final battle. Now, most people would go, really? Out of all the scenes that's in the movie, the final battle is going to be one of the best you've seen? Yeah, it's a huge ass battlefield. You've got, you know, the King's Knights thing. I don't know what they were called again. It's been a while since I watched Black Panther. But, you know, the women warriors that support the king. You've got them turning against Killmonger and fighting him, you know, towards the lift to the underground. You've got all the people battling each other. You've got the mountain people jumping in. You've got the big-ass rhinos with armor. And when they're running through the screen, it's amazing. It's just one big 3D love fest, because you're getting that great usage of 50-50 that I was telling you about. You get the nice in-depth and pop-out all hitting the screen at once. And it's the same as the other scene when I said the fight between Killmonger and T'Challa, because they were falling down the hole. And I said you could see the legs sticking out, but while you also felt like you were falling down a deep hole. It's the same as this. You could see the rhinos coming out, but as you could see, shots being fired from weapons across the way. So, yeah, that was amazing to me. Number one, the best scene in 3D, in my opinion. Now, this is going to people go, out of all those scenes you've also just mentioned, this is your number one favourite scene. Yes, and I'll explain why. Now, if anyone's seen the beginning of Black Panther, right, the shot in the jungle, it's just it's too dark lit. You can't really see much happening. You get the gist, but you don't get to see much 3D because it's so dark and dim. You miss out on all the action, you know, and it sucks because you want to be able to actually see what's going on. But my favourite 3D scene in this movie is the scene that shows you what the 3D has to offer from the beginning. And it's as they're entering Wakanda on T'Challa's ship. You know, you see them flying over, you know, the country. And then he goes, like, this is my favourite part, it never gets old. And then they go through, and you see them black bars start, like, shrinking. So the screen opens up into full frame. And then, boom, straight through into Wakanda. And you just see that ship sticking so far out of the screen while it's flying into this really beautiful in-depth city. And wow, as soon as you see that, you go, right, that is what I wanted from my money. That is what I fucking wanted from my money. Now, yeah, so I really did enjoy this movie in 3D. So I've got my favourite scenes out of the way. Let me talk more about my opinions on the movie in 3D, you know, and in 2D. I'll do that. So, opinions on the movie in 3D is that it is definitely the best way to watch this movie. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, we watch it in 4K. Fine, great. If that's what you love, that's fine by me. But if you want to feel the movie, let alone just watch it, if you want to feel the experience, Black Panther is definitely more rewatchable in 3D than any other platform. But don't get me wrong, the colours and the story and everything is still beautiful from the 2D release. You don't really miss anything story-wise. But I think it's just for that extra feel you should watch the 3D version. But the movie itself has become my favourite Marvel movie of all time. Just because I love the concept of this movie. I love the acting in this movie. I love the story. I like the fact it's based on traditions instead of just powers. And my main respect of this Marvel movie, more than any, and I'm going to stress this point so strongly. Most movies are based on humans who have to build suits and make them super special. Like, for example, the Hulkbuster outfit, it's just an Iron Man suit, but with the capabilities of defending itself against the Hulk because it was designed around the Hulk's strength and everything. But, you know, same with DC. You got Batman, just because he's a billionaire, he pays for all these high-tech gadgets and suits and shit. Or you've got aliens, gods, higher beings, mutants, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all these characters, but there was no originality, nothing new to bring to the table. Whereas in this movie specifically, we get, you know, the plant, the little purple plant. I forgot what it was damn well called. You get the little purple plant, and if you want the powers to be the Black Panther, then, you know, you have to win the noble fight, and when you do, you get rewarded with the power. But when you get challenged, if you've already got the Black Panther power, and you've been challenged by nobility, you have to get that power stripped to make it a fair fight. Now, that is fucking amazing. That is the best thing I've seen in any Marvel movie to date. There has not been one Marvel movie that I've seen that's had that much level of respect for a character, for a tradition, for a story. And that is why Black Panther will be number one on my list of favourite Marvel movies of all time. It was originally the first Iron Man movie, but that hasn't gone too far. The first Iron Man movie is number 2 now. But this had something special, something unique, and something fantastic to add to the Marvel Universe, and I'm glad they did this. Didn't be less than 20 minutes. My ratings on 2D and 3D. Now, 3D, 100%, right, throughout the whole movie, apart from the first, I'd say 10 minutes. 3D gets a 5 out of 5 because once you get to that Wakanda scene you're entering, the 3D just stays throughout the whole movie. It doesn't die down, it doesn't go nowhere. You see in-depth and pop-up moments every literally 2 seconds. Enjoyable, fantastic, fun, exciting. It is IMAX 3D, by the way, so the frame rates do shift, but it doesn't affect the movie. It doesn't make you feel awkward while watching. You can still enjoy it. My rating on the 2D version is it's still a 5 out of 5 because no matter how you watch this movie, it is still an enjoyable experience. Like, just because I watch it in 2D, it doesn't make me go, oh, the film's worse. The film is still fantastic, and sometimes you're not going to want to watch it in 3D every single time. Sometimes you're just going to want to give your eyes a rest and just watch it peacefully on a 2D screen. And it still looks beautiful. It still is a beautiful movie. Therefore, it doesn't lose any quality just from watching it in 2D. Therefore, both 3D and 2D versions are a 5 out of 5 for me. And I stick with this opinion. I don't change this opinion because, as I say, it's one of Marvel's best. And I'm glad they did it because we got treated to something so emotionally and background touching. Now, don't get me wrong, we all know that their traditions are not based on what my traditions would be. And I know a lot of people out there that would be quite rude and disrespectful to the actual traditions of the real people in African or Jamaican countries and stuff like that. And to be honest, I've enjoyed this movie more on its tradition and its culture than for any of the other things in it. And I fell in love with it. It's fantastic. And I hope to see a Black Panther 2 in the future. I know it's meant to be, but I can't wait for it. It's actually going to be my most anticipated Marvel movie for the future. Right. So, we're at 18 minutes of this movie. Yeah. So now let's get talking into the second movie. This was a surprise movie that I'm pretty sure I haven't told any of you guys I've seen. I'm going to have a sip of tea for a second because I've been talking for too long. And there we go. So, it's not as in-depth. It'll probably be a lot less time. But it's Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Now, this was a movie I've only ever seen once, and that was 2 to 3 weeks ago. And I absolutely loved it. It's a fantastically, very slowly but beautifully told story. I don't know any of the actors' names or the characters' names other than Norman Bates, obviously. But the acting of Norman was fantastic, believable. Didn't seem like an actor playing the role. Actually seemed like a genuine person. I know the woman is Jamie Lee Curtis's mum, and I feel so ashamed that I have not written down names. But yeah, no, she was also believable, being just a woman in distress trying to find a way out of a situation. Amazing. There was just something about this movie that made me realize that being younger than most people reminds me of what I missed out on so many years ago. And yeah, I mean, my first watch was amazing, but it was nothing like going to a cinema to see it or watching it just after it came out on your home TV or reading about it in the newspapers about how much of a hit it was. That exciting feeling of it being a new movie just hitting theaters, and like, it makes me sad that I'm as young as I am because I missed out on it. And don't get me wrong, I'm also happy I'm as young as I am, but I missed out on a beautiful masterpiece when it first got released, and that's what sucks. But no, I overly enjoyed this movie. It was beautiful, and I will admit I've said beautiful quite a lot throughout Black Panther and probably this movie. I don't mean to. I just say certain words so many times, and my throat is going. Oh, it's getting bad now. There we go. But I do really enjoy this movie. The characters were fun. The story was exciting. Seeing the famous shower scene for the first for the first time. Oh, I don't know. My throat keeps going. Sorry about that. But overall, it's made me want to watch more of Hitchcock's movies. I've never really seen any of Hitchcock's movies to begin with. This is one of the first I've actually sat down and watched all the way through. And it's making me want to watch a lot more. And I've been told all the different titles and all the different classics like The Birds and Rear Window and stuff like that. And I'm going to check them all out. Opinions on the movie, I've already given that. Ratings. Okay. As a movie, could I rewatch Psycho? Not really. I mean, I could watch it once a year, give or take, and feel perfectly satisfied with that. I could always watch it close to Halloween. It would fit in quite well with the holiday. But even though it's not rewatchable to a certain extent, it is probably in the top 10 of movie classic history. It's what's known as a treasure now, more than just a movie. It's along the lines of Wizard of Oz. It's a movie that no matter how old it gets, this movie could be in movie history for the next 100-odd years and still be a movie classic. So for that, this movie, it gets a 5 out of 5. And it makes me appreciate what we used to get in cinema and from movies in general. Makes me appreciate the form of art put behind these movies instead of it just being a movie. It's and the weirdest thing is I've said movie quite a lot, but it's more of a film than it is a movie. Because it's very slow, it's very calm up until a certain point. And then it extends into something heart pumping and exhilarating. I'd still say it's definitely more of a film. And there are a difference between movies and films. There are always a difference. But the only reason I class this as a movie is because movies are more rememberable than films. Films are something that you used to see every so often and then be done with them. A movie is something that sticks around. A movie is something that's always there in your heart. Not all films are forgotten. We remember a lot of films, but in general, as I said, this is a treasure. And to anyone who owns this, whether it's VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, digital, whoever owns this will own it for the rest of their lives. And that's what makes it special. Yeah, I don't know why, like, towards the end of this movie, I started getting all calm and quiet and collective about what I was saying. I don't know why, it just felt right. Everyone's just like, what the fuck happened to his voice? Like, he's going to the dark side. Oh god, this one. Yeah. So, wow, Hitchcock was a genius, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of his collection. They're all like this, then I'm gonna have a great time viewing all these movies. Wow, so that's that done. Do you know, I may have to I may have to just say these videos might not actually be an hour and 20 minutes long. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this film now. This film I've also waited a long time to talk about, and it's about time to really get. I know I've had a mini discussion. Well, I had a reasonable discussion about the story on Sasha's channel, and I ain't got time to bleed. Go check that out. We do these. Well, we were doing these movie discussions. I know that this movie was just a one on its own, but usually we do like an original versus remake video. But go check those out. They were fun videos, and we're hoping to do another one soon. Hopefully, very soon. Yeah, but this is about Coco, the 3D review. Now, there are only 3D scenes that are extremely well, two very noticeable scenes, and then one thing to say after that. So let's just get into this. All scenes involving the golden leaves throughout Coco, you know, whenever he goes near them, they're always fluttering outside of the screen, and just the glow kind of leaves a reflection on the screen, which makes it look more realistic than just an animated movie. Really enjoyable just to see that happening. The second is all scenes involving scenery. And I know that makes no sense because everyone's probably like, well, all the scenes are sceneries. No, I mean like in some scenes he'll look out and he'll see like massive amounts of buildings, and you can see like the depth shows like houses behind other houses, buildings behind other buildings in front of the buildings. But you can see like the little curves and corners, so it's like looking at an actual street instead of just looking at a screen. So that's what I mean. Big sceneries. And then number one is technically the whole movie. There is only 1% of pop out in the movie, and it's with the golden leaves. There's not much pop out other than that. This movie is a purely based in-depth movie. So it's 99% in-depth. Which doesn't make it bad. It means that they've missed an opportunity that they could have had, but that they didn't do it to the full potential it could have had. But it's still really enjoyable looking at all the depth scenes, and it's still a nice watch. It's still an enjoyable watch, which means a lot, you know. My opinions on the 3D is that it's not like Black Panther. This Coco you can see in 3D as little as you want, because it's not a massively eye-opening experience. It's reasonable. Like if you go, do you know what? I'd like to watch a film that's like looking in a fish tank. Coco's, you know, your number one go-to. But in this one, the 2D is a much better watch. Just because I've noticed that watching Coco in 3D, it looks a little bit darker than it does in 2D, than most movies would do in 3D. Which is weird because the 3D glasses are dimmed, tinted lenses in a way. So you think that all movies would look dark with the glasses on, but they don't. Some still look really bright and vibrant. Coco looks a little bit dimmer, which ruins it for me. Because Coco has a lot of colour and just a lot of beauty within its art that, you know, you feel like you're kind of missing with the 3D glasses. So if you just want to watch a film that's like looking in a fish tank, then yeah, go for it. Go for the 3D Coco because it's beautiful. But the 2D version of this movie, so whether it's 4K, whether it's Blu-ray, you're going to have the best Disney watching experience of your life, because it is just so on point with everything. Story, colour, acting, vocals, emotions, everything. It's all in there, and it's all ready for you to feel. Not just watch, feel and experience. My opinions on this movie as a whole is that it's one of the most realistic, and people are probably going, huh? Most realistic? Have you seen Coco? But let me explain by what I mean realistic in this sense. But it's one of the most realistic Disney Pixar movies since Up and Wall-E. There are children all around the world who want to be something specific. They want to be an actor or a singer or a dancer. And their family members, they have their own businesses, or they've been in such high top paid careers that they want their kids to follow those footsteps. And some parents are just like Miguel's in Coco. They turn around and say like, no, we don't want you to be that. We don't like people like that. We don't want you going down the same road as someone else. We want you to have the same life that we have, doing what we do to make us happy. It happens. It's a real thing that people go through on a daily basis. Not every adult out there is happy with their job, because I'm pretty sure that every adult out there wanted to be something different than what they are, but never got that chance. Second of all, kid who is surrounded by a shrine called an ofrenda. I would try and put the accent on while saying it, but it would probably just ruin the whole thing. And I don't want to do that. But this ofrenda thing is where you have the photos of your relatives who passed with something that they owned or something that they had in memory of them. So not only a picture of them, but something they owned or something that they had. In this case, they were all shoemakers, so it was all like their first shoes that they made, like for themselves, was on there. But, the boy runs off and does exactly what he wants to do. And in doing so, he borrows something that belongs to a passed away member. But then in which case causes him to go to the land of the dead. Now, Miguel was unsure that the land of the dead existed. He thought it was just something that parents make up to make you feel like your existence means nothing. And when he starts seeing his passed away relatives, they all freak out too, because look, no one alive is supposed to be seeing us. No one alive is supposed to know that we're actually here at the moment. Now, it's not only that, but the other realistic thing that's also terrifying, that any kid who's seen this movie is probably petrified of this one scene, which is when, after Miguel meets Hector, they go and visit this guy about borrowing a guitar. And this spirit of this man passes away. Now, it was weird, because at first I was thinking but he's in their heaven. He can't just pass away. And then Hector says, we call it the second death. If there's no one left around to remember you, if there's no one left around to keep your memories alive, then you just disappear forever. And when I saw that, my heart stopped. And I was like, shit. And it's a really emotional scene when it happens, because it makes you think of all the people you've lost. And sometimes when you're not surrounded by their pictures or a video recording of their voice, you tend to forget what they sounded like, what they looked like. And it makes you so scared, well, I've forgotten tons of people, who've passed away. Like, not forgotten them as in the sense of that they weren't important, but like, because it's been so long, you're trying to move forward, so you start losing bits and pieces of your memories of them. And it's horrible. It's a terrible thing to think of at the time, because you think, I don't want to be the reason why someone stops existing in general. And a kid watching that would make them. I mean, my nephew and niece did it when they first watched the film. They turned around. I mean, that they lost someone to them, and they said that they don't want to forget them all. They don't want to make them disappear. And I felt like, wow, this movie has hit the heart of every generation to exist on this planet, and the fact that it's done that, you'd think I'd be angry. You can't force stuff like that down kids' throats. But to be honest, we can all agree that the late 2010s have been the most violent and most vicious we've seen our world get in a long time. I know that we've had world wars before and other stuff, but every day now, I mean, at one point back then, there was peace and quiet on the streets. There was calm lifestyles. Now everywhere is too dangerous. Everywhere is frightening. Everywhere has something bad happening. And, kids nowadays are more acceptable to learning earlier what death is. And it sucks that it has to be this way. It sucks that young children at the age of 5 or 6 have to turn around and say, like, I don't want to forget those who died, or I don't want to die, and it breaks your heart. It makes you feel sad, that this is what the world's come to. But this movie is, in a way, it's kind of buffering kids' brains into like, look, you will see your loved ones again. Yeah, you'll be reunited. They're perfectly fine where they are. So you don't have to worry. Just try and show respect for your family in ways where, you don't have to see them sooner than you're supposed to. And for me, Coco is Coco is probably Pixar's number one most emotional movie. I thought the first 5 minutes, I say, Up. I mean, fudge. That movie took a turn in 5 minutes. I mean, that movie went from bloody kids to teenagers to pregnant to miscarriage to elderly then to death. They showed life in 5 minutes. And I mean, like, wow. But see, there's my point. Up just showed you life. There was no explanation. There was no discussions. There was no buffering in. It was just, oh, look, this is what happens. Kids, teenagers. There was no leeway. It was just one quick sweep of what happens. Coco was trying to give children that buffer, that easy, gentle push into seeing what life could be like. What life is kind of like. The thoughts that we have daily. It was that. And it was also a lesson that no matter how far you are, no matter who's in your family or not, remember them as much as possible. So this movie was the most emotional and most realistic Disney Pixar movie I have ever watched in my life. And on saying that, I have to give my ratings for the 2D and the 3D versions of Coco. The 3D version I give a 2.5 because it's only enjoyable in depth, which I said is great. That's why it gets a 2.5, because there's no pop out and because it doesn't have a hold over the actual 2D. It doesn't get the full 5-star rating, whereas the 2D does get a 5 out of 5 due to its beauty and truth and just intelligence of an amazing story. It was something spectacular to have watched, purchased, and enjoyed. And yeah, sorry, I went on a really big rant about that movie. It's something I mean, it's just such a phenomenal movie. Also, before I actually end talking about this movie and end the video, there's another scene that I want to talk about that's not 3D, just in general, a scene that's so fucking beautiful. And it's when Miguel plays that Remember Me song to Coco. And she's suffering from, some form of dementia. She's losing all of her thoughts, all of her memories of everyone. But when she hears the song, her hands move, her eyes open, and she starts singing with Miguel. And then she remembers her father. She almost forgot who that man was, and she remembered from a song. Now, be in mind, Coco hadn't heard this song in over 70-something years, from when she was a little girl. So you're talking about a song she heard at like 3 or 4 years old, 70 years later of not hearing it, heard it again, and it brought back that memory from 70 years earlier. That is the true power of love from any way, whether it's family, whether it's your partner, whether it's just from the atmosphere, that family, truth, and love are the only things you need in this world to remember who you are. Anyone who watches this video is just going to be like, damn, what's he been taking? It's so emotional. It's amazing. But I, like I said, this is why I'm enjoying doing these audios instead of the videos. Because with the videos and the headaches, I start losing concentration. I can't say how I feel. Whereas this, I mean, I wouldn't even mind, but I've got a bit of paper here in front of me. And I'll take a picture if I have to and put it in the video. You can see all I've written down on this sheet of paper is Coco 3D review, top 3 3D scenes. Then it has the top 3 3D scenes. Then it just says opinions on movie, 2D and 3D, 2D and 3D rating, 5 out of 5, 2.5, 5. That's all that says. All the stuff I've said about the actual movie and what I felt is not on this sheet of paper. That's from my heart as I was talking about the movie. And that is why I enjoy and will be enjoying just doing these types of videos, because I can give you guys my full 100% honest feelings about movies that I've seen. Now please, I want to know in the comments if you guys prefer these type of videos, and if you want to see more of these, because I'd much rather do these than the other ones. But just let me know if that you can enjoy this, because that will help a lot. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to keep talking for an extra couple of minutes, because once it reaches the 20-minute mark, it's only at 17 minutes and 30 seconds. So, 2.5 minutes, and then I can do the outro of this video. But, I mean, Disney's getting there. Disney is getting there with its movies. They're bringing out much more better releases, a lot more deeper stories. Next week, I'm bringing bloody Moana into the mix. I need to talk about some Moana, I mean, damn, that's another movie. Not because of, it's as emotional as Coco, or because it's as touching as Coco, but to be honest, Moana has got some serious shit going down, and it's yet again one of those realistic movies. But we'll get into that at that point. But no, I've really enjoyed doing these videos so far. I mean, to you guys, it's one whole long podcast. For me, I've been doing these in little segments, recording little bits at a time, and just plonking them all together towards the end to make the whole video. But within each break I was taking of doing the audio, I was quite, calm and happy. Whereas when I'm doing a video, I've got to set up a tripod, set up the microphone, I've got to plug it all in, I've got to check the audio, check the camera, clean the camera to make sure there's no smudges or light smears or anything. Then record the video, then edit the video, chop the video, put the video together, then upload it. Whereas this is just microphone, audio, put together, upload. It's so simple. And that's what I love about this. It's easier. It's an easier way to do videos, but it's more content than I could give. Whereas I could only do just a simple like 10-minute review on there. I mean, okay, fair enough. They've been still quite small reviews, but I've given a lot more from my soul on these movies in this than I would have done by video. And that's why I'm proud. I'm really happy to keep going this route. And just, I'm doing these once a week. Every Monday, three of these will be a video and one of these will be a live stream every month. It'll always be towards the end of the month the live stream one happens. But for the first 3 weeks, it's a video. And that's what I'm going to talk about more in a minute anyway. So, just getting it sorted now. Yeah, so there you go. This is the end of the video anyway. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. As I said, this is definitely the step that I want to go in. This is how my YouTube channel is going to be from now on. You may get the occasional unboxing video that's like 2 to 3 minutes long, which isn't a problem. But, collection videos, I'll probably only do those once every year towards the end of the year, just so you can see what I got throughout that year. I'm always uploading pictures and very small videos to Instagram. So if you're following me on Instagram, then yay. Facebook, I rarely put anything up on Facebook, but it's there if it has to be. But anyway, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, time for the old outro here. Feels weird doing the old outro because I said if you enjoyed watching these videos, but it's more like if you enjoyed listening to these videos. Oh, here we go. Let's just try a new one, innit? Right. Anyway, that is the end of this podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to see more podcasts in the future, please hit that like button. And if you're new to my channel and only heard this podcast or seen a couple of my videos, click that subscribe button down below. I'd surely appreciate it. Anyway, take care, you wonderful, wonderful people, and I shall see you next time.